filled to the brim audience. It's fantastic. I'm glad that you came here because we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about interoperability, why we're doing this event, why we're testing, why so many companies come together and work very, very diligently on making sure that technology is fully interoperable. Michael already gave a very good introduction of what CharIN is and how CharIN works. But let's take a look in the context of us here in the United States. What does it mean to us? Reduction of CO2. Why is it important? Well, guess what? I'm from New Jersey, and New Jersey this week is about 10 degrees warmer than Long Beach, California. Is it normal? I don't think so. But that is becoming our new normal because our planet is warming up and it changes climates. For the first time in at least my memory, we had 4 tornado touchdowns about 4 weeks ago in southern New Jersey. It has never happened before, at least in the recorded history. So the climate change is real and we need to deal with that. How do we accomplish this goal? It's very simple. Electrifying our transportation and reducing the lion's share of the emissions produced by our transportation is one of the pathways to decarbonization. And in order to accomplish that, we need to achieve seamless charging experience. We need to make it easy and simple for those who drive those vehicles, either for work or for pleasure, to charge whenever and however they would like. And CharIN is promoting combined charging system and megawatt charging system exactly for that purpose. CharIN is a global organization. We work on a global scale because global scale is important for the economy of scale to make products more efficient, less expensive, and accessible to everybody. But while we do it on a global scale, and we're present, as you can see, in pretty much all parts of the world, it's very important to focus on local activities and be very much cognizant what we need to do in the local context to achieve our goals. And that is why a couple of years ago, we launched CharIN North America, and I'm proud to serve as a chairman of the board and president of CharIN North America. Why did we create CharIN North America? The answer is quite simple. We needed to focus on policy issues and aspects of technology adoption that are very specific for the North American market. And that's what we do here. We promote standards, we promote economy of scale, we promote interoperability. I would like to tell you a story. All of you know what Wi-Fi is, right? Everyone knows what Wi-Fi is? Please raise your hand if you do. All right, ubiquitous, right? Wi-Fi is synonymous with communication. But it wasn't like that at the beginning. Wi-Fi was born back in early 90s. It was a competition among multiple standards, HomeRF and some others, and I'm dating myself, of course, by talking about it. And all of a sudden, the industry created a standard. It was called IEEE 802.11. The standard was adopted in almost mid-90s, 1997, I think it was. And shortly after, Wi-Fi Alliance, which is basically an organization very similar to CharIN, started to promote interoperability based on the standard. So you might ask, what is the difference? We have a standard, it should be interoperable. Well, technically yes, but in practice, it takes a bit of an effort because standard is written to the best of our ability to specify what technology needs to do. But there are some nuances that still need to be addressed and interpreted. And many companies interpret those nuances and differences in somewhat different ways. And that is why when you start using the same standard from a vendor to vendor, it's not always possible to create interoperability. So, how do we resolve that? We resolve that in a very simple fashion. We start interoperability testing. We test among multiple vendors. And we do it in a very simple way. We gather like that, and we start doing effectively what you can say is speed dating. When one company with a charger, another company with EV start talking to each other. And through that we learn what differences are identified, how they can be fixed, how the standard can be improved. And what is interesting, the phenomena of the knee of the curve starts to occur. When you see an exponential growth, up until a certain point, it seems like a linear growth. And then all of a sudden, industry gets together, economy of scale kicks in, everyone starts deployment, and technology moves forward. Now, we're starting to see this knee of the curve, this curve of adoption, to accelerate in e-mobility. Interoperability is a key to enable this great, seamless charging experience. And by doing that, we're enabling many manufacturers on the charging side, on the vehicle side, to come to the market without a fear that their products will not work and start introducing new models. This chart is a bit outdated, but what you can see here is the adoption curve, number of vehicle models introduced into the market. And you can see that it's starting to look more and more exponential. So what is CCS? What is Combined Charging System? It's basically a host of standards that enable us to charge from AC to high power DC to megawatt level DC. So today we're talking about from single digit kilowatt all the way up to 3.7 megawatt. It's a broad range of charging, but the key to enabling seamless experience is uniform communication for all types of charging. ISO AC 15118 is a standard that enables chargers and vehicles to talk to each other. And big part of the testing tomorrow and the day after will be focused exactly on that. ISO 15118 enables us interoperability, plug and charge, so no need for credit cards and what have you, automated charging, V1G integration, V2G integration, and many other features. All types of vehicles, all types of trucks, buses, aircraft, mining equipment, you name it. CCS is not a single standard. It's a collection of the standards that define mechanical properties of the plugs and outlets, safety components, charging topology and grid integration, communication, security, all of that comes together. And that is why interop testing is not just testing of a single standard. It's a testing of the integration work that companies have done to bring it all together to make a product out of it. I talked about ISO 15118. ISO 15118 is an evolving standard. We started with the basic charging, aided by RFID authentication and some other diagnostics. We extended it to secure charging, to plug and charge. Now advanced features such as automated charging, bidirectional, all of that is starting to evolve. I'm not going to bore you with this chart, but what you can see, it's an evolution. And evolution requires us to get together on a regular basis and test and test and test so our customers, users of our technology, can benefit from this wonderful, seamless experience that enables them to charge. Plug and charge is a very important cornerstone of ISO 15118. What it is, it's basically a tool to eliminate the need for any other form of authentication. Effectively, your vehicle becomes a gigantic security certificate that can be used to authenticate the charging session. So no need for the credit card, no need for an app, no need for an RFID. Just plug the cable, plug the socket, and all of a sudden, charging process begins. I'm not going to bore you with every single detail of this chart because it's an eyeful. But the message here is very simple. Grid integration is not just one word. It's an umbrella for a very important spectrum of different services. Started from grid-compliant charging to control charging to cooperative charging when we can orchestrate energy delivery to multiple charging to bidirectional and then aggregated bidirectional. So effectively we have systems at the edge of the grid that work together in a cooperative fashion. And by the way, all of that is enabled by the ability of the vehicle and the charger to communicate with each other using ISO 15118. And I would like to finish my speech with this trip down the memory lane. October 21st, 2019. No, I would like to ask you to stand up for a second. Yes, you have to. We have to give this gentleman a huge credit because what happened on October 21st of 2019, CharIN was holding a member meeting in Oakland, California. And we invited you and a couple of your colleagues, right, to join our meeting. Why did we do that? We decided to fantasize what could happen if instead of policymakers reacting to the technology or technology developers reacting to policy, what if we start working together? What would happen? And guess what? A couple of years later, California Energy Commission funded part of the testing for megawatt charging system that Rustam was working on. Rustam, please get up as well. So this guy did a lot of work to make megawatt charging working, and this guy did a lot of work to fund the testing. And now, fast forward, with the facility tomorrow of VATV, where megawatt charging technology comes to life. Isn't it amazing? 2018 to now, and all of a sudden we have this result. We got together back, I think it was in 2018, right, Lars? 19 of us or 20 of us to talk about how to launch megawatt charging technology, and now we have the result. Yesterday we got together to talk about how to implement PKI. It was a much larger group. We decided to continue to work together and implement it forward. So now we're here, we're testing, now we're working with California Energy Commission together. And thank you, Hanan. And Hanan, where are you? Oh, thank you. Thank you for enabling us to do that. Round of applause to the sponsor of this event. And to me, it's a great example of how we can work together. Government and industry, combining our resources, our intelligence, our forces to achieve what we need to achieve. Thank you. Enjoy the event. We're now making the future possible today. Thank you.